Hey guys, it's Danielle, and today I wanted to do a reflection style video talking to you guys about my experience at Howard University 5 years ago. So let's go ahead and get into it. For those of you that are not subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. I make videos all the time and I would love for you to join the family. And if you're already a part of the family, I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all, I went to Howard from 2015 to 2019. I'm currently 26 years old, so I graduated from Howard 5 years ago approaching. Like, this next homecoming will be my 5-year anniversary. I studied international business while I was at Howard with a concentration in information systems, and my language was French. I still live in the DMV area post-grad, although I've traveled a whole bunch. So this video could be considered like advice to current students based on my reflection 5 years post-grad, okay? The first thing that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention, or the first thing that I recognized that I could have done better when I was at Howard, is being more social. And this extends beyond just your typical social behavior. I mean, just being more social with people, with friendships, not necessarily always having to network, from that perspective, but more so just genuinely making more friends. I see now, post-grad 5 years later, a lot of people that made, really impactful relationships while at Howard, and now they're marrying those people. And I'm not saying that to say, oh my gosh, I wish I married someone from Howard, but I'm just saying that to say, like, it can happen. You can actually meet your quote-unquote Howard boo at Howard, and that be the person that 5 years later you come around to marrying. Or it could be the person that ends up a higher up at that company that you want to work at. It could be romantic, it could be networking, or it could just be that the person you meet at Howard ends up being your friend for the long term. I'm super grateful that, 2 of the people I met at Howard I can now call my closest female friends, and I also made a lot of beneficial male friendships at Howard too. So I'm not saying I ended up friendless when graduating, but I just feel like there are so many people that were in the class of 2019 that I can't say I know. And I worked at the Starbucks on campus, y'all. There's no reason that I didn't know literally 90% of the class, okay? So be more social. Take the time to actually know who these people are. I'm not saying follow everyone on Instagram, but I'm saying, like, remember the faces, remember the names, learn people's stories, because you never know what type of relationships you might have later on with those people. The next thing I wanted, also on that same tip, clubs. I was not a part of any clubs, so I do suggest getting involved in clubs because that's an easy way to meet people if you find it hard to just meet people regularly. So that's another thing. Also, networking with your teachers. I didn't network with any of my teachers. My twin brother did a really good job of building good relationships with his teachers. That is good just from an insight wisdom perspective. These people have valuable things to share. And I'm not talking about that 18-year-old girl being cool with that 27-year-old adjunct teacher that's a male. I'm talking about the older, wiser teachers that shouldn't be predators. Be cool with them. The next thing I want to tell you guys is to learn more artistic skills. This is probably my biggest tip of all the tips. I obviously make YouTube videos. I was making YouTube videos at Howard. If you don't know, I've got a playlist of them on my channel. So I already kind of had the skill of video creation. I could have doubled down and learned that skill even more. Yes, I was in the School of Business, but why does that mean I can't be friends with someone in film and TV? I should have. In addition to that, I saw someone on Instagram the other day, and she actually does digital art and fashion inspiration. She went to Howard and she was self-taught. So do not sell yourself short on the things that you can learn while at Howard that have nothing to do with your major, purely as a result of being self-taught adjacent to the right people. I could have taken up photography more, digital art, doing hair, knitting, crocheting, all these things are very, very useful, especially if you kind of like artsy things, but that's not your major. Go meet some artsy people and learn artsy things, because not to make everything about money, but that's monetizable. If you get low on funds post-grad or whatever, you could start your own business crocheting. You could start your own business doing whatever, Don't sell yourself short on the beauty of having these extra sort of talents. And also, it's probably gonna be fun. You're probably gonna like it, you know? And Howard is an amazing place that has all these people that have all this knowledge, so take advantage of it while you're there. I don't think you guys realize once you graduate from Howard, even though you feel like the world is so big and it becomes bigger, it actually becomes smaller. You have less access to people that are so willing and ready to just share with you, give you their time in a pseudo-safe space, right? So take advantage of it. I'm so serious. This is probably my biggest one. The next thing I would say is to document the experience more. And this is coming from someone who had a whole YouTube channel dedicated to Howard vlogs at a certain point. I did not go as hard as I should have with that. I think that documenting your time at Howard is something you should make a priority, even if you're not documenting it for social media. Let's get out of the assumption or just the conditioning that everything documented has to go online. You can document things for your own personal scrapbook, document things for your own personal archives. Document it for yourself, because you want to be able to look back on this later and say, oh, this is how I was freshman year, this is how I was sophomore year. And if you're already a senior, it's not too late. Start documenting now, because this time is going to be something you're grateful to be able to look back on for inspiration purposes, for nostalgia, or just to show your kids one day. So document it, guys, seriously. The next thing I want to say I would have done is gotten less sleep. You guys probably saw the sunrise with me, but I would have gotten less sleep, honestly. And I say this for a very particular reason, really just because I slept a lot junior and senior year. I had less credits. I was living off campus, but in a Howard approved student apartment. It was called V Towers, but in my day it was called UTC. And the first 2 years I lived in Quad, and then College Hall, and then College Hall South. So, you know, I slept a lot, and I don't think that you should sleep. You know, when you're 25 plus, you need to sleep more, you need to stretch, right? But 21, 20, 19, 18, no, okay? Stay awake, get as much knowledge as you can, have as many experiences as you can, go do things, go learn things, put yourself outside your comfort zone. No, don't get drunk every night. No, don't get high every day, ruining your youth. No, don't be so pressed to go to the club. Present day, I'll go to the club and I'll be like, yo, these are Howard students in St. Eve's, these are Howard students in Abbey. And I'm not saying that's bad. I didn't start going to the club though until my senior year of college. Don't be so pressed when you're in college to do all of these things that are like non-college things. They have a bunch of Howard parties. They might be at clubs, but they're not the clubs that I'm going to with the older guys. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like nowadays Howard girls specifically want to put themselves in a position to be groomed so bad, and you don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to be dressing like the Instagram models, going out to get chose by older men from the clubs respectfully. You know, it's okay to just do Howard stuff, really take in that experience, and then the moment you graduate that May, go outside. And I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, no, like, y'all look good as hell when y'all come out. I'm cool with a lot of y'all, but it's more so just like, don't strip yourself of the experience while you have it, because this world that I'm in is not, like, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but like, you will have it in abundance the moment that you graduate, you get me? So there's no rush. Like, I could go to the club every single night right now if I want to. I'm 26 years old, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the moment that you graduate, you have this life at your fingertips. I don't have Howard's life at my fingertips anymore, you get me? So take advantage of it while you have it, because it's cool, you know? It's very cool, like, to be able to do Howard things, be in that environment, and get everything you can from it. So get less sleep, but not for the purpose of doing things like that, for the purpose of just getting as much out of the experience as you can. Go to events. Don't be that bitter person saying, oh, I don't do Howard stuff. No, it's not cool. You know, it's not cool to try to be outside of Howard while you're in Howard. Just be in Howard. You're gonna be grateful later. And then I wanted to also say, don't be distracted by off-campus things. That's the same notion, you know. I remember when I was 18 and I was in the school of business, maybe I was 19, there was this man, he was 28, and he just happened to be an undergrad too at the same time. He was like one of the few super seniors. You know, he was obviously trying to groom me, and I'm not saying this to be negative or predatorial, but I'm just saying, what business does a 28-year-old man have with a 19-year-old girl that has never, you know, really done anything, you know? So, but I digress. Anyway, that was cool, but it was like, don't be so caught up on leaving campus, going to all these places just in DC. you don't realize it, whether you're coming from New York, whether you're coming from Kansas City, whether you're coming from New Orleans, whatever, LA, you still don't know DC, you know? And even if you're from DC, please, you get me? Like, you don't need to be so pressed to now leave campus and do all these quote unquote like grown things. And I say this only because I'm seeing a rise of just, you know, crime. Like, Howard used to be a pseudo safe space. Now I'm seeing more and more people getting like even just robbed at 9 a.m. on campus. Let alone you leaving campus to go be with some local men that came and picked you up on the ramp of College Hall South, you know? And I'm saying local, even though I'm now a local too. I'm being honest. There's people that are my age, older, or even a little bit younger that prey on the naivety of Howard students. And it's something that won't change. It's just a function of being in a school in a big city. But be aware of that. Don't be so quick to leave campus with these older people or go do all these things off campus, you know. Stick to the environment that you have unless you're doing something that makes sense. Because you don't want to find yourself in a situation that you shouldn't be in, you know, just because you decided to do something you probably shouldn't have been doing, you know. So these are just things to be aware of and things I would say are good advice. And then on top of that, I remember my sophomore, junior, senior year, I was dealing with someone who lived off campus. He was an international student, technically, right? And that was cool and all, but it was like I recognized I'm spending all this time in his off-campus house. Not even an off-campus apartment with other students. I'm literally just ducked off in this house with this guy I like. And yeah, it wasn't dangerous. Yeah, he was not outside of my age range that I should be dating. But it was just like, it stripped me from the Howard experience. I'm essentially dating someone off campus, living a completely separate life from Howard, you know? So I'm not saying this to say don't be off campus at all, but just be cognizant of how much you're stripping yourself from your Howard experience, you know? This jersey was actually my mom's. My mom went to Howard, graduated in like 1978 or something, you know? So it's like, there's legacies to this, you know? Get as much as you can out of the experience so that you can put the next generation in position to get something out of the experience, if you so choose to continue the lineage, right? Or the legacy. If these tips helped you, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more, y'all. Let me know if you want me to do any other like post-Howard type of videos, because I don't mind doing them and I love giving you guys content. If you have a comment, leave it down below. If you go to Howard, I want to know your opinion on my tips. If you also have graduated, I want to know what your tips are. And I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.